We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Malik Washington, Miami Dolphins rookie receiver, who's really done a lot of the dirty work since he started getting his playing time over the past handful of weeks as a blocker, being asked to do like different things, and it's been pretty fun to watch him. That's how you get more playing time and you start to get the ball. Hasn't had too many opportunities with touches yet, but he's done a good job as a punt returner. I think since Berrios has gone down, he's been playing with toughness. Not the biggest player, but I do like what he's brought to the table in that area. He just hasn't really been needed as a receiver. He's had a couple catches, but that's just, with the nature of how the offense is playing right now, hasn't really been needed. Only so many plays to go around. They haven't even gotten Tyreek and Waddle as many touches as they would want at the receiver position. But he's been going out there and doing a lot of different things, and I think that's a good sign for his future with the team, especially if McDaniel sticks around as the coach. Clearly, they started to trust him as that blocker, the guy that can, get down, even, get some blocks on linebackers and edges, or throw a fake at those people. That he's been asked to do that a little bit more. And, a couple catches as a slot receiver. I think he can do some things as a slot option threat for you. And then also, I think, been quality as a punt returner, good with the ball in his hands type of player. They even give him a reverse end around type action last week. So we'll start breaking some of this stuff down. This was the play versus Buffalo. This is the one where Mostert got that nice gain. They actually ran a very similar look on the first drive, but Tua just threw it to Tyreek instead. But they were doing like the same setup too, so that's clearly something they have in their playbook, where they have like one person running a route and it being Tyreek, and then everyone else is going down the field getting ready to block, hesitating, waiting for Mostert to catch the ball. But Tua could have thrown it to Tyreek here, but he did that on the first drive. This time he decides to dump it off to Mostert. Washington's right here. Break down, don't get engaged too early for PI, and then once he gets into you, just stick with it. Good feet, good hands. Try to sustain these blocks, stick with it the whole time, and then Mostert's able to accelerate through for a first down. Just doing a lot of the little dirty work, being that main blocker at the point of attack with Jonnu Smith. It feels like he's been asked to do a lot of almost like whatever the opposite role of the tight end is doing. It's kind of like that with Malik Washington. Like if you see the lead momentum block to the outside here, a lot of times this is happening with a tight end or the fullback. This time it's Malik Washington who gets asked to kick out the corner. Even though, not the biggest guy, he's willing to throw his body in there, even gets pushed back a little bit, but does just enough. Just doing your job. Willingness to throw it in. This is how you get playing time. This is how you potentially get the ball in the future, is doing this little thing. And he's able to kick Douglas out enough where Mosert's able to hit that hole. Just very, very love seeing that, especially from a rookie. And just doing other little things where clearly he's being asked to throw his body into an edge defender here, like he's run blocking, but it's actually a disguise to get the play action boot with the underneath to Jonnu. So he's just throwing his body in there to get Jonnu open and not have this edge get to Tua right away and give him a chance. And then also he then leaks out to be a potential later option if Jonnu wasn't open. But doing those things just to help your teammates get the ball, that's a fun look. And I think really out of the players I've seen be asked to do that stuff, it's really only been Malik Washington. And even when Berrios was healthy and active, he wasn't being asked to do that type of thing. So clearly Malik has proven something in practice where they feel comfortable with him doing that. Here's another example of him blocking. Here he's releasing, look like he might block, but then comes off of it to where then Jonnu could potentially take him. Actually, he gets called for an illegal blindside block here, which I think was pretty weak if you look at it. Because he gets that first block initial, then comes off of it, identifies this guy's going to be the first to get to him, and then throws his body in the way, which I guess you could call it a blindside block, but it's not like he just destroyed him. He kind of just threw his body there to seal him off. He didn't just throw his helmet into his helmet. I think it was pretty weak, but it was interesting to see him get hands on the first guy, block, slow him down, and then peel off and take another guy, which would have been an impressive play. Unfortunately, a penalty. It wasn't going to be a first down anyways. It was third and long. But I do like seeing that effort. He's being asked to do little things like this where it looks like he might crack down on the edge. He throws a little hesitation there, freezes this guy, so you love to see that out of your receiver. Freeze the edge, force him to shoot his hands. Now it allows Engel to get a free kick-out block, and then he climbs to the next level, puts hands on a corner there or a DB, and it's just very, very impressive with all the little things he's being asked to do, and he's very willing to block. Not saying he's an elite blocker or anything, but he's willing to go out there, throw his body into things. Here he's blocking a linebacker. That's Raekwon McMillan, former Dolphin. where he, like, it's not, perfect block, but he squares him up and is able to sustain it for long enough. The run gets stopped in the backfield, but having a receiver that's willing to do this and at least have a body on him for that long, that's kind of all you can ask in this type of situation. That if it gets blocked up a little bit better up front, there's potential for Mostert to hit through there, or at least force the linebacker to go around and that type of thing. Love this from Malik Washington because he gets, boom, little chip on the edge, which allows the left tackle to get a good matchup on him. And then he goes up to the linebacker, freezes on the linebacker. I think he thought Ingalls was going to take him, so this is what he's doing. He chipped the edge, then throw a little bit of a fake block at the linebacker, which he thought Ingalls would get. But by him doing that, it makes the linebacker take himself out of the gap, like his eyes are not focused on the running back. And then he goes up to the next level and then tries to get the block on the safety. So just doing a bunch of this little nuanced stuff that you probably just don't notice on game day, but when you watch the film, and you focus on Washington, he's doing a lot of different things, which is very, very fun. Like even reps like this, where it's just backside of outside zone, he's basically aligned as an off-ball tight end, where his alignment is, but standing up. And he's just throwing his body on the edge there. It's not a great block or anything, but him being asked to do that and at least being able to throw his body in there, it's pretty nice to see from, a guy who's like 5'9", pretty small. They're throwing screens to his side, allowing him to block for Achane, that type of thing. He'll kick out Teron Johnson, who's one of the better nickels in the league, very good tackler. Sees Johnson's commit to the outside, boom, wash him out of the way, allows Achane to accelerate through. That's just good, patient blocking. I think he's got good contact balance and core strength to him to at least keep these blocks up, and then he at least stays square a lot of the times too, technique-wise. Another example of him, giving a little bit of a hesitation, this time to the corner, freeze him, then climb up to the safety and get hands on him. Achane almost falls in for the touchdown, but just little stuff like this over and over again with him being that blocker. And then he gets a couple catches. Here he gets isolated on a linebacker and empty. This is where he probably can do most of his work, I think, right now, is where he can just run an option route. Linebacker has inside leverage, boom, he takes outside leverage, catch the ball, pick up just like that 5 to 8 yard gain. I feel like Washington can be that guy for you, almost as basically what the tight ends have been. I think Washington can do some of that stuff as a receiver. That's where 2 of his 3 catches, I think, have come from on plays just like that. Here's the other one. Same thing. Quick outbreaker to the sideline. He's got good, very strong hands. Did have it out of college. Would like to see more of a diverse route tree, get more chances down the field. Just hasn't really happened yet, but he's done a lot of good stuff for you. Here's another example of that same thing that they did with Jonnu. He does it here again, this time getting a body on the edge. Cardinals just covered up better this time, but Washington was a potential option and just doing more of that little dirty work stuff. And as a punt returner, I think he's been pretty solid at having just a couple of punt returns since Barros has gotten injured, but just making people miss. I think he does a really good job being fluid with his hips. He breaks tackles. He's got quick feet. He makes it very tough, I think, to get a clean hit on him initially. He's not the fastest. He's got solid speed, but he's not the fastest guy around. But you can see, look how him just quickly change direction, stop on a dime, and then once he frees these people, accelerate pass, then get skinny through the contact that he then, is able to break those and make people miss. Just pick up a nice 19-yard gain on the play. Looks like I forgot to enlarge that route, so we're gonna ignore that. I guess I messed that play up, so we'll ignore that one. It was just a route run by Malik that I thought was pretty nice. And then we got the punt return down, another nice little punt return. Where he makes the first guy miss, not as long as a return, but just making that first guy miss. And for him to spin out of that, and then also the instincts to feel this guy coming while catching the ball, doing it in one fluid motion to make that person miss, pick up just 6-7 yards on the play. Here was basically a punt return on offense where they get him a punt return action with the end around to get him the ball. Was interesting that he chose this inside path here. I think he saw that with his angle, even if he tried to go to the outside, Johnson was going to get to him. So while Johnson's forcing to the outside, he just sticks his foot in there and gets back upfield. Was interesting. I wonder if he gone to the outside, he would have gained more yards or lost yards there. I think it could have gone either way. But I don't mind him just sticking that foot in the ground, getting upfield, and just being a hard guy to bring down. He's gonna make that first guy miss a lot of the time when he's got that much room and space, and then just so much things to with what Washington's done. It hasn't been, the flashiest stuff you've seen from your receivers, but that's not what you really need in this offense right now, especially with how they've kind of changed things up. been a little more run heavy, a little more in the passing game, a little more, nuanced with the things they're doing, having receivers who need to be involved as blockers, that type of thing. And Washington, I think, has done a nice little job. And, you need more touches for a lot of your receivers, but that's just, what they've needed to do this past 2 weeks. And it's been pretty effective. And I think Washington has played a nice part in these past few games with the dirty work he's being asked to do. So if you usually do, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.